Well, meanwhile, in WWE land, we talked about this about a week and a half ago. Vice TV announced they were going to air their documentary about Vince McMahon to this past Tuesday night, the 13th, and I just went ballistic. And I remember I said, the first documentary out on Vince McMahon, everybody's been waiting to see all these projects. This is the first one out, and they didn't beat it to death for weeks. They didn't advertise it on all of the Dark Side of the Rings and the Tales from the Territories for weeks and weeks. They just 10 days ahead of time, maybe they tell us it's coming. What the fuck? Now I know why. Ladies and gentlemen, this won't be a very long review because we've already done them. Every time we've talked about an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, we pretty much reviewed the Vince McMahon documentary. Besides for Brian Solomon sitting down with some new comments and doing a very fine job of representing himself as a serious individual, talking about factual events, and some new footage of Shitstain, illustrating again to God and everybody out in the general public why it's almost impossible to sit in a fucking room and listen to that voice. And I swear to God, bro, he invented the wrestling. And besides that, literally the entire 2-hour documentary was cribbed from Dark Side of the Ring episodes like a goddamn book report that was due on a Monday morning and got started on a Sunday night at 11 o'clock. So, and it did 95,000 viewers, and they were probably pissed off, and that was rotten. But that was just a blatant. And I was on there, courtesy of Dark Side of the Ring. A lot of great wrestling personalities were on there, courtesy of Dark Side of the Ring's already aired episodes.
Yeah, by the way, I read in The Observer, actually, it said that you were one of the people that turned down being interviewed for this. So how do you feel if that's true about them using that footage?
Well, it's not that I'm not pissed because I did those comments for a program on Vice TV. They've been reused. It's fair use. As a matter of fact, goddamn Evan and Jason have been fair used to death on that program. But the reason I turned it down was simply because I was in the middle of doing, or just had done, or agreed to do, a shoot for Tales from the Territories. And we had planned the upcoming thing that I did on I Was There on the Vice YouTube channel about Lawler and Kaufman. We had also been talking about and knew that I was going to be doing another shoot for other things that are going to be coming up in the new year. And those were all things that I really wanted to do and be involved in, whereas another documentary on Vince that Vice was doing, I was already doing 4 different things with Vice, and I don't have time. I don't want more people coming to the house and have to sit down and shoot, and I can't be in everything. So I picked, so it wasn't.
And Jerry McDivitt.
Refused, huh?
And Jerry McDivitt.
No, I haven't spoken to Jerry McDivitt since 1997. Or maybe it's 98. Regardless. So, but it was just a rotten program. In hindsight, I'm glad I thought, well, I'll sit back and watch this show without being on it and watch it as a fan. Instead, I watched as I've already seen all this shit. And there was nothing new. And, with the 5-minute preamble at the start with some old high school yearbook pictures of Vince, took us into pretty much 1984. And there you go. And then it was 5 different Dark Side episodes. So that's why we don't have much to say about it. And it didn't do very well, as it shouldn't have. I don't know why they did that.
All right.
Do you know why they did that?
I have no idea. It was dog shit.
I was taking a drip. I was taking a drip of my Sprite.
I could use a drip. I could use a drip right about now. No, it was bad. That's the sad thing, too. Brian Solomon was fantastic on it. And you brought up the first 5 minutes where they showed like the high school photos and they told a little bit from what we know of his early years. That was the best part of the whole thing, because then the entire tone changed, and then it just became Dark Side rehashed with random new clips of Brian Solomon or Vince Russo thrown in. and just loud, dark music playing throughout the whole thing. Just really not good, and now you know why they weren't advertising it, because they must have known.
Yeah.
This was just, hey, we have a wrestling time slot. What can we fool people into watching?
So they did, on a documentary of Vince McMahon, basically what Vince McMahon has been doing for the past 50 years. They sold the sizzle and not the steak. Remember that? That was always Vince's thing, is we sell the sizzle, not the, it's the idea of it. It's the smell of it. It's the anticipation of it. It's getting people excited about something and then chowing down on it. It doesn't have to be the greatest steak if you've built the anticipation. Vince sold the sizzle, not the steak. And now Vice on Vince has sold his sizzle and not his steak.
Very good.
But I'll tell you what.
Well done.
If you want some sizzle and some steak that for shizzle will be not only good smelling, but good tasting. I'm talking about the whole experience. They'll get the anticipation up. They'll get you smelling it. They'll get the sizzle. They'll get the excitement. And then they will deliver with a bite of cattle byproduct that will melt in your mouth and just make your knees freeze, your liver quiver, and your spleen turn green. I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, our friends at Omaha Steaks, and Christmas time or any time. How about New Year's? How about Arbor Day? Chow down on some delicious steak, mouth-watering favorites, the delicious Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon, the ultra-juicy burgers. They've got those incredible sirloins. I'm telling you, you will call them sir, and you will say thank you, ma'am, after. And even the air-chilled boneless chicken, the big juicy Franks, and the comfort meals, the Omaha Steaks trademark is because they're the experts. They're the brand name. Why, Omaha, the whole place smells like a cow pen. So you go to omahasteaks.com right now. They are having an incredible sale, which ain't going to last too much longer because Christmas is over, and then everybody's going to get hard-hearted again and not want to give a crippled crab a crutch, much less you a deal like this. But right now, you go to omahasteaks.com, 50% off site-wide, half off meat. I mean, they're taking more off than Mandy Rose does on the internet, folks. Right now, plus, if you go to omahasteaks.com, you take advantage of the 50% off site-wide. Now, a minimum order may be required, but why wouldn't it be? Because they're practically giving this shit away, folks. You're going to eat for the rest of 2023 on this. But if you use the code JCE at checkout, you're going to get an additional $40 off your order. So half off meat. Use the code JCE, get another $40 off. I mean, order the whole damn thing. Just the entire, not only a side of beef, order 2 sides of beef. Get the left side and the right side of old Bossy and put her in the freezer, and you'll be eating till warm weather. Right now, again, omahasteaks.com. $40 off with the code JCE at checkout. Take advantage of the 50% off sale. A gift that will be remembered with every unforgettable bite. And I'll tell you what, you will so enjoy eating every single steak that they send you that particular cow's family will never forgive you, and they will swear revenge until the end of time. So every time you open a front door and you go outside in your driveway, you look around the bushes and you see if there's a longhorn steer waiting with a ball-peen hammer with an evil eye in your direction. That's how much you're going to enjoy this stuff. omahasteaks.com, promo code JCE.